Today we're going to take a soil sample, and in Bandera, Texas, Bandera County, Texas, that's the county that Good Ground Farm is in. We go online, we go to the Texas AgriLife Extension, and we get all the instructions that we need to take a composite soil sample. Some of the things that you're going to need are right down here. You're going to need something to hold the soil in. You're going to need some type of a spade or a shovel, something to hold the samples in and mail them off, something to label them with, like a marker, and then they need, according to their website, about a pint of soil for each sample that we are going to take. We're going to do 3 separate samples because we have 3 separate areas of our quarter acre. The first is the 1/8 of an acre that we're standing in right now. And this is where we're going to do the pumpkins and the sunflowers, where we did them last year. We'll probably do the same thing. And this has already been kind of amended, had some compost put into it, and it's a little bit different than the other 2 sections that we're going to get samples from. The second sample is going to be from where we have our production right now, our winter production. It already has some of the flowers and corums growing that we planted earlier this year, and we want to get a separate sample for that so that this spring, when we start to amend it again, we have a better idea of what to put into the soil and what it needs. The third and final one that we're going to do is our brand new 10 beds. It doesn't have anything in it. They're basically just resting and waiting for the spring. They also have been amended, but we just want to make sure that we have 3 separate samples because we have 3 separate situations for the things that are happening on our farm right now. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so what we're going to do is we have all, 6 of these beds. They're covered for the winter. So we're going to uncover a little portion of them. We're going to take this shovel and take kind of a core sample out of each one of those beds, combine it all into this bucket and mix it all up, and then we'll get our composite sample, which is a pint jar's worth of soil for our sample for this portion of our farm. So here we go. This happens to just have a little piece open. So this is what happens when you don't burn your fabric. You get a nice string everywhere. So make sure you use your torch. All right, so all you have to do is just grab a small composite sample. Doesn't need to be a whole lot. Just make sure you get a good even understanding of what is in there without any plastic in it, like this. Sometimes you find plastic. And then we're just gonna add a little bit to our bucket. That's all you have to do. We're gonna do this 6 times for this sample. All right. So as you can see, you didn't need a whole lot, just maybe less than a half of a shovel full. Just a little bit of each one of those, and what we're going to do is we're just going to mix it all together within the bucket so that we have a sample of basically what's in each one of these beds. And this is just a rough estimate for what we have or what we may need in these 6 beds, so that when we amend our soil this spring, we'll have a better idea what the soil needs and how to fix it. All right, once it's mixed, you just need one pint jar in one bag. and then make sure you properly mark it so you don't forget what you did. If you get any rocks, make sure you take the rocks out, or any big debris. With the instructions today, don't get rid of any of the black composite stuff that's in there. There it is, black gold. So now what we'll do is we'll take our little sample bag and we'll pour it in. And this is now our sample that will go off to the AgriLife Extension or Texas A&M. They'll sample it and they will give us a reading of what is in our soil and what it needs. It's very helpful. So we'll do 2 more like this, and then we'll send them off tomorrow, and we'll know what we need for the spring. Sample number 1. There it is. I can't stress enough the importance of soil testing. It all starts with your soil, and if you're not sure what to put into it, and you're just kind of guessing, you're going to get mixed results. This is from personal experience. If you just kind of throw a whole bunch of stuff at it, it'll probably produce, but it's not cost effective. You could be wasting your money on things that your soil already has and doesn't need any more of. You could also possibly burn your soil or your plants from the amount of things that you add to your soil. So make sure that you take the time. This only took me maybe 20 minutes to get 3 separate soils out of 26 separate beds and mixed together. All right, so we're in the last part of our soil sample process, and that is after we send off the sample through the mail, they're going to do their analysis, and then they'll email you back, if you follow the instructions, the results. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is basically the Texas AgriLife Extension website, and you just click on soil, and it kind of gives you like the instructions on what to do right here. So pretty easy to get to through their soil testing. Just follow the prompts, and then what you'll receive back is, and you'll get a analysis just like this. It's a little file that they'll send you, and it'll tell you exactly what's in your soil. For ours, this is from June 14th, 2023. This was the first time we ever did any type of sampling ever on this land, and it showed the recommendations right over here are the recommended amounts that they would add to the soil sample that we sent in. So 0.6 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, 2.1 pounds of phosphorus for every 1,000 square feet, and everything else seemed pretty good. The pH was just a little high, so we amended with acidifier, a little bit of nitrogen, and a whole bunch of phosphorus, which is basically bone meal, blood meal, and a soil acidifier. You can find those at any of your big box stores. If you want to not do it organic, you could also use feather meal, alfalfa meal, those types of things as well for your organic options. And then also down here on the bottom, it kind of gives a little bit of a suggestion. Apply an additional 1 pound of nitrogen for every 1,000 square feet every 4 to 6 weeks as needed to maintain vegetative growth. So this is a really cool little analysis. It really can give you some good guideposts on how you would want to proceed when you are amending your beds for the season. We at Good Ground Farm, we did one in June because this was our first initial when we first started the farm, and we will do a soil sample just like we did in the video every fall or winter, just so we get the results back before spring. When we roll the beds back and we start planting again in spring, we want to make sure that we amend with compost and whatever the soil sample tells us to do.
So this is how we amend our soils at Good Ground Farm, by taking a soil sample, getting the analysis, putting the amendments in that's needed. And this is all a free resource through Texas AgriLife Extension. And we are just so grateful for all of their efforts to truly make our ground good.
Just kidding. Don't forget, subscribe.